We up? We are up. We are live. Hey, my name is Wayne Pelletier. Thanks for checking in. I want to share 3 business growth hacks today that you should just steal and use. I can't believe I'm going to give these away. These are 3 major changes I've made in my business, and things have kind of taken off. So the first one is have a process. Wait, it's not that simple, is it? Yes and no. I think you've already probably figured out how difficult it is to sell time. And specific outcomes are more valuable than time in this modern AI landscape. And the way service businesses are going and the way they're being bought has changed in the last 18, 12 months, maybe even dramatically in the last 6 months. And they're only going to continue to change. So that's why, even though it's common to get started out selling your time, it doesn't scale, and the value of that time is changing dramatically. So in order to make your expertise available to different types of businesses or to people specifically within a niche, it requires a bit of a change. And actually, it's total fact that if anything requires your time, it just leads to burnout. So I know firsthand how hard it is to live through the feast and famine cycle of project work. Selling a done-for-you project service is an awesome start, but it's hard to scale. Almost impossible to scale unless you're willing to grow an agency and add bodies, because people multiplied equals time. That's why I think it's critical. And the business change I made was not just to create a process, but to name it and to lay it out. And I've done it in previous videos, like lay out the process and sell that outcome. Talk to people about the outcome, not about the expertise or the amount of time they're going to get that, hopefully they can extract as much of that expertise as possible. Work on the outcome. It will allow you to transition done for you services into maybe more of a done with you product option, as well as DIY product option, like some kind of course or digital product schema in the future. So creating a process, naming it, delivering that, and then figuring out what's the best way to serve that business so that they have as much access as possible to the right level of expertise and the right service level has been a total game changer. Total game changer. Number 2, hang on, I got hoarse all of a sudden. That sucked. All right, number 2. Is anybody in here? No? Good. That's just me and you. We are live. We are live after all. Number 2 of the 3, we covered having a process. I think it's critical. You may not agree. This one I think is critical, even more so. It's the signal versus noise ratio. And it doesn't seem obvious, but we are talking about both health and productivity here. Key number 1 is to limit your influences. When I limited my influences, and I have been a voracious consumer of books, courses, YouTube videos, and podcasts, just taking in all this information, thinking that I'm learning, but all that inspiration and all those ideas turned out to be a really bad way to get things done. Ultimately, I don't think it's healthy. I think it feeds the imposter syndrome beast, and it leads to a series of fits and starts where I was rethinking things and rejiggering and working through the business and doing whatever I need to do to inspired by some new process. but none of the other things I was starting was getting done. So it's sort of like procrastination in a way that creates stress, because when I'm not getting things done and I'm not productive enough, it's really hard. It's hard enough to work on the business and in the business at the same time. So you kind of start experiencing burnout. At least that's what I did. And I ain't here to borrow sorrow from the future. So all these things just wound up being delays that was stressing me out. Instead, I switched to a rule. For a while, I had a desktop wallpaper. You can't see my desktop. I had a wallpaper that just said 10x. And I know it's been a meme in the past to say, I need a 10x developer or something like that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about create 10 times more than I was consuming. It was very intentional to consume less. Not less in total, but less content from lots of people and influencers. Because here's the thing, they're all pretty much right. Everything you find here on YouTube's in this genre is going to be pretty good. It only gets completed if you see it through to the end. And the problem with having lots of people influence what it is that inspires us, or at least with me, was I was bumping into this thing like not finishing anything. So I decided, stop. I'm only going to follow a couple of people, and I'm going to take their courses, and I'm going to execute on it, and I'm going to see it through to the end. And it has had a dramatic impact on my business. So the next thing was just say, okay, write, blog, create, whatever it is, create videos. Hey, look at me, I'm creating videos, and create digital products. And one thing that I think that, especially from a secondary channel standpoint, like obviously YouTube is my primary channel. I have a secondary channel in LinkedIn, and I have more in my next tip, but I stopped publishing on LinkedIn articles or posts necessarily. And I think that one thing we overlook sometimes is that comments are content. In fact, on some channels, LinkedIn being one of them, comments are the only way to be seen by people who don't know you or follow you. So if you're going to expand the number of people that you're connected with on LinkedIn, comments are really the best way to do that. So thinking about secondary platforms was how, not secondary platforms entirely, but thinking about how I leverage specific platforms and what qualifies as content really helped me realize that as a commenter, I'm creating content that is valuable to the business, even if I'm not publishing on the platform in a way that you would normally think I'm publishing on a platform, right? So the only other things I'll say about this signal versus noise, a couple more tips would be, remember that perfection is the enemy of done. Literally nobody cares. There are very few people waiting for you to publish your next thing. They'll get to it when they get to it, or they'll hit it when they get notified that it's available. Nobody cares. So embrace that. Publish. Fix it in post, as they say, right? Get better over time. That's the point. You can't get better at something that you're not doing. So do, publish, share, create, and then you can finesse what you're creating to change the outcome. But if you're not publishing, you have no outcomes. So let's get to those first. Let's solve the problems that we have. The first one being inbounds. And signal to noise ratio has been huge in shifting the business. I mean, it's been a dramatic growth hack for the business. Just making that decision, period. And the third one, is community. What? Communities. I'm here to tell you, this is a big one, and it's going to come as a surprise to some people, but not for me. Holy cow, has being a member of communities had a dramatic positive effect on the growth of the business. And yeah, they're great for networking and learning, specifically drilling into certain topics. Communities have different levels of depth, but I'm in many communities. And at first, I wasn't particularly strategic about which ones, but look, work, clients, customers, whatever we want to refer to them as, every single community, pretty much, well, maybe not every, almost every community has produced work, clients, or customers. Period. So, I made a very conscious decision to diversify. So I bailed on some communities. I've bailed on several communities that I felt like I couldn't make an impact in. They were too big, or I felt like it wasn't the right vibe. So I've built on a lot of communities, but I've diversified into lots of different communities inside of Slack, a few in Discord, a few Facebook groups, and a few local groups, all of which have been amazing. So I would say do be careful. I wasn't so careful at the outset. I spread myself thin, and it became difficult to create meaningful connections inside of those communities. And then ultimately with community, I found that I was drawn to certain ones more. And like which social media channel should I be on? It doesn't matter. Pick one and go. Communities are kind of the same way. I was drawn to specific ones more so than others. And that allows for me to organically show up honestly and be generous in a way that doesn't ever feel like work or networking. So there are lots of ways to diversify, but do think about it. This is the way I think about it, is industry forums are really great. There are tool forums, app forums, there are special interest groups, there are a ton of niche, like your target niche, whomever, like if you want to target fitness people, there are Facebook groups and Reddit groups and Slack groups and Discords. It's out there. You can find it, but you have to dig. And the more sticky you get inside of those things, or the more of them you find, the more you will find. It's sort of one begat itself, right? And then another one I really like is peer groups. And I've gotten more work out of peer groups than I thought I would ever. I thought I was just in there to learn. I don't want to miss out on some new tech or some new concepts or ideas or features. And what's happened is, hey, I'm really swamped. Can someone just jump in and help with this? And then ultimately you wind up with that brand becoming a customer or a client. I've had that happen a few times this year. So it's entirely possible. It doesn't have to just be niche related or industry related. It can be anything that you're interested in. There are people out there that might need your help, and they don't know you're there if you're not participating. So don't sell, right? So you get a lot of things out of the communities. You get accountability, you get ideas for content, you get a ton of ideas for content. Every time someone's in there and they complain about something, I'm like, I need to chat about that because I have thoughts. You increase your reach in a meaningful way. You get referrals and you build meaningful relationships. And I've said this in the past in other videos. I think I have a short specifically about this that I did about a year ago. Relationships are the great amplifier. You can't unknow someone. So by showing up, being real and generous with my time and being honest and hitting people on the level, meeting them where they're at, helping them, answering their questions, asking questions and letting other people help me, not showing up and selling, you create valuable relationships, people that will be able to amplify you in the past. And that is something that you don't have to ask for. It's not something you have to try and control. And it's not something that I'm even interested in having control over. I want to do people right. And then they think of me a year from now, 6 months from now, or they refer someone. I recently got a client. It's like two referrals removed. So-and-so knew so-and-so who was referred to so-and-so because they saw a blog post or a LinkedIn post or something. And that wasn't going to come my way if I wasn't showing up and building relationships and creating meaningful connection with people. You know, I'm not just that Squarespace guy in a lot of these communities. I'm valuable in other ways. And there are people in there that I value tremendously for lots of different reasons. And community has proven to be an incredible growth hack for the business. I did not anticipate that when I started the business 5 years ago. Although I jumped right into community, I did that just because sitting here at home in this office, basically it's a spare bedroom, is lonely. And I'm outgoing. I'm social. I don't know if I'm type A. What is type A? I'm definitely an extrovert. So sitting in this room and not having connectivity to other people in any way would probably drive me stir crazy. So I have found tremendous value in community. So those are the 3 business growth hacks. Take them, steal them, repurpose them. Ask me questions about them down in the comments. You can hit me with DMs or whatever, because I know a lot of y'all back channel me. You don't leave comments, you back channel. You text me or you DM me or you ping me in Slack or in LinkedIn. Love it. Awesome. Bring it. But also, I don't mind y'all bringing the heat. Put some things down in the comments. Say, these were growth hacks. I don't care. Look, have a process. Name it. Sell that outcome. It is far more valuable to my business than offering up time or my expertise in a general way ever was. Signal to noise ratio. Clean that up. Don't be wasting time watching a bunch of shorts here or reels on Instagram. Follow people that you really value their expertise. Learn from them. See that stuff through to the end. It's the only way to build enough momentum to achieve growth. 10x. Create 10 times more than you're consuming. That's what I did, and it's been tremendous for the business. And the next thing, number 3, would be community. Don't sleep on communities. I have a local strategy. There's a video I did a couple weeks ago on that. It's amazing. Well, not the video, but the local strategy is pretty friggin' amazing. And then don't sleep on forums and communities in Slack, not just peers or industry people, but also special interests and tools and apps and stuff like that. Just incredible. So that's my little wrap up. I don't know if I have struggle bus stuff today, other than where the heck is my voice? I didn't even drink that much last night. No, just a bourbon. Just had a bourbon. I gave the girls some ice cream. They loved it. I don't have struggle bus stuff, and I don't want to chat about AI today, but I am putting a panel together for, speaking of local strategy, a panel of local AI gurus to try and create a Q&A session. Hopefully I can narrow the field of what we're going to talk about. But it's an AI panel discussion for a local community group that I think is really going to be helpful for people. Local businesses have a ton of anxiety and fear around AI, or misaligned expectations for what it is and what they can accomplish with it. And the thing is we think about our context, like AI is going to help us with this or help me with that. But the context is entirely different for different types of businesses. If you're a plumber or you do HVAC work and you get all your business via local referrals, and I've talked to like companies that do housing support and home repairs, don't even have a website. They don't even need the internet. They're more busy than they can deal with just from referrals. So there are lots of different perceptions out there about how it can be helpful or There are different types of anxieties. So I want to narrow the field of what we're going to talk about in that panel discussion. So I'm looking forward to building that. I've already pinged a couple of people. So that's this one. This is a wrap. Wednesday. We did 20 minutes. And someone just came in. Rewind. Go back to the beginning. Go back to the beginning and catch all my awesome growth hacks. So, listen, have a great rest of your week. I will see you Friday, 11 a.m. right here on the YouTubes. Just having a blast doing this. I hope you're enjoying watching these and getting to know me a little bit. And I'd like to get to know you. Like and subscribe. Leave comments. Ping me. Whatever. I'd love to get to know you a little bit better. So let's do this. See you Friday. Bye.